There are many examples of behavioral biases that make people act irrationally when it comes to money and investing, and one of them is confirmation bias. So what exactly is it?
Confirmation bias is just a really fancy academic term for the way that we make decisions. And I always joke, it's the way men make decisions. Of course, women do this too, but I have experience as a man making a decision. Here's how I make a decision. I make the decision, and then I do my research. And my research consists of summarily dismissing anything that disagrees with the decision I've already made and rounding up evidence that supports the decision I've already made, right? Like the joke I always tell is if I've made a decision about something and I wake up in the morning and there's an email that says 10 points of data to prove that that decision you made is wrong, and right below it there's an email that says 10 points of data to prove that that decision you made is right, I delete one and open the other, and it's no prizes for guessing which one.
A good example of confirmation bias is the way that investors convince themselves that the stock market is either about to take off or about to crash. It happens all the time.
You're playing tennis with a friend and they say, "Oh man, I'm just really worried. Our inventory orders have dropped by 50%. Like we're not getting orders. That's the economy, and the market's going to be terrible the next 3 years." So they're basing that off of one little tiny piece of data at their work. They made a statement to you, you leave, and you take another behavioral problem, small sample size, right? You project that into the whole thing, and what do? You go, look, stock market fall, right? You type that in. Where's the market going? You type that in. You find a bunch of other people saying the market's going down. Are they there? Of course, all the time. And there's also people saying it's going to go up. Next thing you know, you're making the phone call to sell everything. And when you back it all out, you're like, wait, I'm doing all of that because their orders have fallen?
The internet and social media don't help either. Carl Richards' view is that confirmation bias has become more common and harder to deal with.
One of the reasons it's harder is because you can always find confirmation of the decision you've made. So, and we're just sort of hardwired. Anything else would require us to do something that's really challenging for humans, and that's to admit we were wrong, even if it's just to ourselves. Right? So if I make a decision to do this, and I explore or even entertain information that's what we call disconfirming evidence, if I even explore and entertain that, I have to be open to the idea that I might change my mind. And we know what we say about people who change their minds, right? Like flip-flopper, wishy-washy, they don't know what they're doing, they're not direct. And being wrong is hardwired into our system. Like being wrong equals death, right? You'll be excluded from the herd and you'll therefore be eaten.
So what can you do about confirmation bias? Here's a useful tip.
I love this phrase of strong opinion loosely held. Right? So make a decision, and instead of thinking this is absolutely the decision, trick your brain into thinking it's absolutely the decision, because then you'll start moving that direction, but just hold it as a strong opinion loosely held. The reason it's a strong opinion is because you got to start acting that way to find new information. But then loosely held part is build into the loosely held part the active search for disconfirming evidence. You're actually not looking for confirming evidence. You're looking for disconfirming evidence. And when you find it, celebrate that you've now been knocked closer to the right course, right? Maybe a completely different course, but more likely just incrementally more closer to the right course.
So by all means, have strong convictions, but always bear in mind the possibility that you may be wrong, and never be afraid to change your mind.